I don't know what Zoom is, and they don't want to see anybody, right? But yet they out there protesting. I feel like a lot of us could have gotten more. A lot of us could have gotten more support, more funding, if we, were a little more savvy, about business. But they also see your value too, brother. You got good content. We need to embrace this type of technology, this kind of format and vehicle to convey the message to our people. There's so many sales pitch. There's so many, just the fact that people always promote something. Before we came here, we're in a refugee camp. There was a lot of, man, you got a long way to go too, right? You got to keep striving, keep being better.
How you been, man?
Great.
Yeah. How's tax season so far?
Oh man, tax season for me is like year long, right? It's just getting the letters out and just did some reflection on, man, it's my 19th year on my own, on my business. And then,
yeah. You just came into this building too.
Yeah. Well, 19th year in terms of doing tax planning, and then 5 years with H&R Block. So I'm like, damn, coming up to 25 years.
How does that feel?
I don't know how I feel. I'm like, I got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so that's how you feel, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That, for a long time, tax was you're a baby with your business, and then now my focus, obviously, it's getting the kids to be not just fed, but getting them to go to school, being a good father, a good parent, a good husband, things that I didn't really have to think about during my early stages in my career. Yeah, I don't mean to be all sentimental, man. That's what I was thinking when I get those letters. I was like, damn, 19th year of this. And it's just been tough, right? It's COVID, coming out of COVID. A lot of things have changed.
Yeah, a couple years ago,
People have changed.
Business changed.
Business changed. But, like at the end of the day, it was like, relationship, livelihood, well-being, health, all that, right? And so my health, you know what I mean? Like you can't separate the fact that you've been doing it this long that it doesn't take a toll on you, you know what I mean? And the same token, we're blessed. And like I said, we have our own building for the last 3 years now. And, never thought I'd be able to own my own place. Right? You walk up here, drove up here, saw a big old Tido financial sign.
For real. It looks good, man. It looks good.
Yeah. And then you look up and then you found the roof is leaking and
it's your building at the end of the day.
End of the day, it's like, man, plumbing and roofing is like the main problem with landlord, with, being an owner, right? So anyway, those are challenges, but it's definitely, fixable. Just looking forward to another year, man. I think we're coming out of COVID, right?
Yeah.
People are excited again.
It's getting more stabilized. It feels a little bit more the norm now, right?
Right.
So not that many masks out there anymore.
No. Even though it reveals something about, me and my folks, my client base, those who are working in the medical field, even our community, right? COVID took a big toll on our community in terms of, people got sick and died and all that, right? And of course, every one of us knows somebody, who were affected by COVID. Yep. The same token, being a community person too, that we saw that we have come a long way, but we have a lot to work on. I think our community needs to get our stuff together in terms of really educating ourselves on being more technologically advanced, knowing a little bit about, computers, and internet.
Did you guys go through that phase of like Zoom or all that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? Zoom, couldn't hardly get people to go to Zoom because they don't know how to use Zoom, right?
Especially the Asian community, older folks.
Or like community meetings, the Sac County came out with a bunch of funding and support, but they needed testimony. They needed, case studies, and they wanted to meet with us through Zoom. And my community members like, man, I don't know what Zoom is, and they don't want to see anybody, right? But yet they out there protesting, in, at least my community, when Trump, the laws, right? So it's just, it's a different time. And I think for me, it was just trying to be positive, right? Because all the programs that took place during COVID, the support small businesses and community, I felt like a lot of us could have gotten more. A lot of us could have gotten more support, more funding, if we we're a little more savvy, about business, taxes, investments, even just the basic as balance sheets, tax returns, filing things on time.
You're not talking about me, right?
We don't get personal, brother. We'll talk later about that one. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us dealt with it ourselves, right? And so, no shame in acknowledging the fact that we could have gotten better.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like COVID changed my business And it's crazy because like I started this ChiaTalks YouTube thing about 7 years ago, right? 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I first started it, oh my God, it was so hard, complicated, because like editing, shooting, scripting, doing that for like 6+ years, and then in the beginning, it didn't seem like it was getting any attention.
Right.
But COVID year was my biggest year for the channel.
Wow. It's amazing.
Why? Yeah. Everybody's at home watching YouTube.
Yeah.
They're like bench watching every show on Netflix, and they go on YouTube, you know.
But they also see your value too, brother. You know, you got good content, right? You know, since day one, you know, what was that, 5-6 years ago when we did our very first talk about tax.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was in my garage.
I went over to your office, but it was cold that night, you know? Man, and I think the topic was about real estate. You know,
it was about taxes.
Some child tax, some credits.
Yeah, it was.
But man, that was, and then of course, you know, I always share with you how I was really impressed of your accomplishments, you know, yet our community, that we need to embrace this type of technology, this kind of format and vehicle to convey the message to our people, right?
Yeah.
And again, at the end of the day, it's knowledge, you know, and I think I share with you, even with those people, that yes, we're all professionals in our particular field. Always get a second opinion. You know, this is my point of view. 20 years, 25 years, doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, we're all coming from a certain perspective, you know, and so yes, facts are facts, but there are a lot of opinions and very, you know, subjective information. So I always tell my clients, like, always, you know, hey, trust, you know, facts, but then at the end of the day, double check everything. You know, get a second opinion. That's always good to have, you know, 2 or 3 different advisors to make sure that, you know, we can keep ourselves up accountable. But yeah, I just we're always, you know, embracing this type of medium to be able to convey knowledge and information on our audience.
Yeah, there's so much. Sometimes the information isn't relevant yet.
Yep.
But when it does become relevant, you appreciate that you made that video or
forefront.
Put that out, right? And now it's out there. And I saw your videos a couple years ago. I never really watched it until I wanted to buy a home. Right. And then all your information was like, oh my gosh, like it makes sense now. I could connect the dots. Everything is just like exactly like what you said in your videos.
Right. Part of it is the audience. The other part is the provider, right? Like there's so many sales pitch. There's so many, you know, just the fact that people always promote something.
Yeah.
And I understand it's the economy, right? You got to make some money. You got to be able to justify, you know, all these expenses. But, you know, there's a difference between somebody like yourself doing this for 7-8 years, have credibility, you know, you can judge based on the whole, the full, you know, body of work versus somebody just came in, you know, 2, 3, 4 months ago to start talking all this nonsense. They just happen to be in the industry because it was convenient for them, right? That whatever they were doing before didn't work out. Like, dude, you know the market inside out from the time when the market crashed, you know, to the recovery to now, you know, with all the changes that are taking place with the rising interest rate. Yeah. So, no apologies, brother. You've earned the credibility. Just like I said, our community, you know, are a little slow sometimes, and we got to be patient with them. But even myself, who I felt like, you know, I'm a little more tech savvy than others, it took me a while to embrace this channel, you know. You
just started like uploading content too.
I did.
And you did it in your native tongue.
No, I couldn't do it, man.
No?
It was hard.
I thought you did.
I did that, but man, you know, you can only study for so long, you know what I mean? And you know, a lot of us are Americanized. You know, I mean, I came here when I was 11. So, were you born here, Chia?
I was born here.
Yeah. So that's the difference, right? You know, so even though I was 11, but those 2 years before we came here, we were in a refugee camp. You know, there was a lot of adjustments that were made. And I felt like the language key was not there in terms of like taxes and investment and finances. Yeah. So for me to convey that in Vietnamese, it was hard, man. But I do have a big, you know, client base that are growing, you know, that require or that kind of demand that native language, you know, native tongue, because there's a sense of empathy, sense of understanding, right? But you know, we'll translate. We got Google Translate. We got assistants that can help, bro. But at the end of the day, man, you know, they know who we are culture wise. It's just that a lot of the topic we discuss is so nuanced and kind of tricky. You know, even in English. You know, not everybody understand that, you know?
True. And so, it can mean a whole different thing in your native tongue. Yeah. I get you, because when I first started the channel, all I did was Hmong too, right? And then for a moment there, I was only related to the old folks.
Yeah.
they loved it.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the people my age, they wanted English.
Yeah.
So I had to transition over.
Dude, I'm impressed the fact that you're able to do it, being a native born here. But Hmong language is not easy, just like Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
Again, the terminology, the real estate terminology.
We're here because we want to educate our community.
Right.
We want them to know about all the resources out there. Because there's so many resources out there.
Right.
People don't take advantage of it, And that's kind of why me and my wife appreciate you so much. Because then we always come to you, right? Whenever it's like, hey, there's a new tax law, right? What can we do to better our yearly planning? We always come to you for everything,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
And it's because we rely on you so much at that point because that's your expertise.
Yeah. Obviously, we have a big communities, right? That Southeast Asian immigrant refugee community, millennial to OG community, and every one of them. Yes, there are differences in terms of different aspect of their lives. They're in different stage in their life, right? The younger generation might in their accumulation stage where they're more inquisitive about certain things, right? And maybe the elders are more inquisitive about retirements and safety nets and maybe some uncertainty with recessions and inflation, right? Stuff like that. Which affects everybody too. But so me being in the middle somewhat, I'm getting close to 50, brother. So I'm not young, but I'm not retired yet, right?
I thought you were only in your 30s, bro.
Oh man, stop it, bro. And like I said, it's been 25 years since I've been practicing, tax, right, as an IRS agent, right? So I feel like I can cover pretty much every topics, right? Yeah. And I think I shared with you before that I'm still the president of the Vietnamese American community. Yeah. And so just the language part is a tricky part too, because again, I got to communicate with the elders in our native tongue, but I still have to attract the younger folks, right? To know that, hey, we're progressing and that, yes, you can still relate, even if you can't speak in your native tongue, you can communicate in English, and yet we can still have that cultural competency, that kind of connection that that certain word you share with them that connects you even deeper, right? And beyond just the emotional empathy and all that. There's so much information that you and I and our team, my tax office has the tax attorneys and estate planning attorneys and even, real estate commercial brokers. And these are all my close friends. We actually call ourselves, Team Kyung, which is like professional team in Vietnamese. And we've done this, for 10 years now. And back in the day, we used to go to the community center and provide free clinics all day long, right?
Really?
Yeah. It was tough. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. It was tough because my attorney friends were like, man, we charge $250 an hour. You want this for free?
Yeah, you making us come here to do this?
And I said, hey, for that. But you know what's crazy, Chia? It's 10 years later. And I said, dude, you guys might laugh at me, but we built that credibility. Right. We did all that. That's a story. That's an alibi you can share, right?
That's true.
You made really true differences in the lives of others, right? So that nobody can just tell you, oh, you just came out of nowhere, didn't do anything,
They've seen you, they've sweat with you. They were just, they were doing everything. I get that. That's true. Community is everything. Me and my wife, we go to church.
Yeah.
And me and her, we were serving for a good amount of years. You do our taxes, so there was all those years where you're like, what? You did all this? Remember? And so, we believe in community. Community is where it starts, because it takes a village to raise a family, right? In a sense, you kind of almost depend on them in a way to kind of remind you of where you're headed. Because you forget.
Yeah. Well, where you headed, but also where you came from.
Yeah, right?
You brought up a great point. I feel like I've gotten to a level of my life where I feel comfortable, right? Yeah. At the same time, it took me, 27 years, right? And then we have friends and, clients who are on a different level.
Oh, yeah.
On a different level.
Yeah,
and they earned it too, right? And we're man.
You see it.
Yeah, and that's credibility to the strength and the testimony to their abilities and the resilience and hard work and smarts. But it also tells you, man, you got a long way to go too, right? You got to keep striving, keep being better. But looking back, we still have a lot of people that we need to also elevate. You know what I mean? Right. We still have a lot of people that want to be in our position. Right. Let alone, the other position. But I just feel like we can do a lot as well to help, bring the next generation. And I would say even our elders to at least give them a sense of comfort that, hey, they're in good hand with us. But also the next generation, they're going to know that, hey, these are the template you want to, not just follow. You can create your own template. You can just... The wheel was invented. I'm not asking you to reinvent the wheel. Make it bulletproof or make it better, make it faster.